What's going on? The market is on the way down again in a day where FTX announces that we're going to be paying back every single investor that was on there, some of which getting 118% of their initial investment back. What's going on? Why is the market correcting? Why are we heading back down to maybe even $52,000? I've got you covered. It's all in this video, so make sure you like and subscribe and let's get into it. So I don't normally start with the charts, but I thought this was kind of relevant and I talked about this on my live stream. You can see we got the Fibonacci here when we talked about this potential push down to 60,500. Now we did wick very close to that and we'll talk a little bit further towards the back end of this video, but be prepared. We could be heading down to 60,500. We may even head a little bit lower, 56, this real low support level hitting the 200 exponential moving average down around 52,500. So some pretty bearish outlooks when you look at the overall cryptocurrency market. But what is going on in, like I said, a day where we got FTX announcements of repaying all those investors on there? Well, namely two things: the SEC running rampant with suing people and then being supported by the President of the United States. Now, obviously I'm in the UK, so it doesn't affect me too much. However, we do know the cryptocurrency markets are significantly moved by US policy, whether it be monetary policy, regulatory policy, whatever it is. And ultimately, this was a now statement of administration policy. Again, it says here, the administration strongly opposes passage of HJ Res 109, which would disrupt the Securities and Exchange Commission's work to protect investors in crypto asset markets and to safeguard the broader financial system. HJ Res 109 would invalidate SEC staff accounting bulletin, which reflects considered SEC staff views regarding the accounting obligations of certain firms that safeguard crypto assets. Moreover, as explained in staff's accompanying release, it was issued in response to demonstrated technological, legal, and regulatory risks that have caused substantial losses to consumers. Ultimately, what the SEC is fighting for in terms of regulating exchanges and, driving the markets. What's absolutely insane here, though, is this has probably caused more people to lose money than the actual cryptocurrency market said. We even know when the ETFs went live for Bitcoin, the SEC tweeted wrongly. They reckon their account got hacked. Nothing ever came of that, by the way. It was swept under the rug and moved on. But ultimately, this narrative coming out of the executive office of the president is ultimately what is spooking investors. Now, what you've got to understand is when we talk about things like ETFs, they are still just regular investors. In fact, investors that didn't or haven't got into the cryptocurrency market up until most recently and are now in the market. So very interesting. And then we see we're not getting a huge amount of inflows. In fact, we actually saw negative 248 yesterday and very marginal today of 184. So very quiet when it comes to the overall standpoint on ETFs. What does the market think? Well, even more interestingly than that, we see a bearish outlook on futures. These are ultimately where liquidations would sit. You can see there if the price moves up, these would be the short liquidations versus the longs. So the market is absolutely pricing in a potential further downside move, all of which coming under the umbrella of regulatory standpoint. We know Gary Gensler has been on it, again, going after Coinbase. The Ripple settlement still hasn't come in, and many, many others, backed once again by the US. Now, there is tons of bullish news out there as well, tons of positive news. Again, the market is still very young in this bull run, but lots of positivity out there. We know that ETFs are going to be big. We know that potentially we're going to see an Ethereum one. I mean, it's interesting that that has been delayed till June instead of being May, but there may become a point where they simply don't have a choice other than to issue an Ethereum ETF, especially if they want to go down the regulatory standpoint. And given the fact Gary Gensler has already been recorded on record as saying that it is not a security. So for me, it's a very much a flash in the pan. It's a push down in the market. And like I said, we talked about this potential push down where we could be looking to pick up at maybe 60,000. Now, the absolute way to play this, pick a little bit up at 60, hold some paper, maybe look at another position at 56, and then maybe even further down at that 52, like we've said. And the same can be said for most altcoins, other than maybe Casper and a couple of others. You take a look at Ethereum, broke below 3,000, printing lower lows. Again, you can see the high that we came in up here. Then we got the low, then we got the lower low, and then we're probably going to print another lower low here as this price continues to push down. MACD is trending very much bearish indeed. Even if you look at what is pushing the market, things like WIF, Bonk, Pepe, all the meme coin narratives, all once again are down in that downward trajectory. So look, lots of bearish sentiment in the market right now. Stand by, because bearish sentiment in the short term will pay dividends in the long term. There is a ton of upside movement to come. People even predicting over $250,000 on Bitcoin. And I talked about this on my live stream. Generally speaking, we see 100 days post-halving before the markets rally. We're in about 3 weeks post-halving. So there is still a good chunk of time yet until the markets really start to accelerate their positions. We may even get Ethereum ETFs before there. We know the Hong Kong investment is going to be pretty heavy. There's $1 billion going over there to fund some of those ETFs that launched in Hong Kong. So very much there is a lot to come. It is about holding your nerve, grabbing the dips when you can, and ultimately come in and hang out on my live stream, because that is definitely worthwhile. But if you want to get into a project that's brand new, coming soon, and you want to be early, check out the link for Marbit. Come and join the Telegram. That's the project I'm launching this summer. And if you want to be one of those early investors, get in the Telegram and get in before everyone else. Until the next one, though, don't forget the like and subscribe button, and I will see you very, very soon. Take care.